Hi everybody and welcome to Golden Hour for another COVID-19 type episode. Again, I'll be skipping the intro. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about disposable gloves and why as a germaphobe I think they're ridiculous. I think they give a false feeling of security, and I'll discuss that in a minute. The other day I went out shopping and I saw a mother and an adult son wearing blue disposable gloves. And it made me think that I really should do a video on this to give you my take as a serious germaphobe. I personally wouldn't wear them, and here's why. I think disposable gloves have merit. I think if you have a injury on your fingers, an open wound you want to protect, or you want to keep your infection or blood from grossing someone out or from contaminating their things, then I think they're a good idea for that. But if you're out there wearing disposable gloves and then touching the carriage and touching everything everyone else touches and touching the ATM and touching your face, then they're not going to do you a whole lot of good. This is an illness that's from droplets that have to get into a mucous membrane like your nose, your mouth, your eyes, and bringing those germs to your face from what you contact is one of the ways that you can possibly get it. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I'm giving you my take on it as a germaphobe. Now, I know that most of you believe doctors more than you'll believe anyone else. I personally don't have a lot of faith in them, but because I know that you do, I decided to research my opinion about gloves. And though I'm not going to quote anyone, I did find some doctors who also said that they're foolish. And one of the reasons is because if you're wearing disposable gloves, you are not washing your hands. And that's what you need to be doing. So the better way to do it is to bring some Lysol wipes. Don't touch the carriage. Use the wipe to clean the carriage. Throw the wipe out and then gel your hands and briskly rub them with a good amount, not just a tiny squirt. One bottle of hand sanitizer is not going to get you very far in the course of a week. Put a good dollop so that you get your hands good and wet and you get it into all the crevices. Fingernails, everything. And the key is to briskly rub till it's dry. That is better than wearing gloves. Going to a sink and washing your hands with soap and water is even better, but if you're in a public restroom, it's probably not that great. So clean the handle of things, then use the sanitizer or a wipe to wipe the germs off your hands. A couple examples of why I think gloves are bad. Back years ago, when you would go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut, they would take a tissue, grab your donut, put the tissue in the bag, and hopefully throw the tissue away. Some people put it in, which isn't good. Now what they do is they put a set of gloves on, and if they're short-staffed and the same person that's making your bagel is using the register, they will grab your bagel with the same hand that they just grabbed the knife with, that maybe they moved the garbage pail over with. They make your bagel with that glove, then they go to the register and they proceed to take a glove off, maybe. Sometimes I've seen them ring it with the glove on, which defeats the purpose. I've gone to Walmart where I've seen the lady take out the trash and then proceed to try to ring my groceries. And when I call her on it, she's like, I'm wearing gloves. Well, I said, great, that protected you from taking out the trash, but now those gloves are dirty and you're about to ring up my groceries. So gloves are a no-no for me. If I see someone wearing them in a line that I'm going into, I don't buy stuff from them. Now, the other thing is, in the medical field, gloves are even bad. And here's why. I don't have a lot of faith in the medical profession, and it's not just based on hearsay. It's based on years ago working there, but also direct contact with them. And I can cite dozens and dozens of times where they didn't follow protocol. But I'm going to give you two quick examples. When my ex-husband had a stroke, I went in to visit him. And one day they were taking off his bedding and bathing him and doing some other things. And they took the dirty linens and whatever other hazardous waste they had, threw it in the trash, and with their gloved hand squished the trash down. She then started to go for his mouth because she was going to clean out his mouth because he didn't have swallowing reflex. She was going to stick that dirty glove in my immunocompromised, ill ex-husband's mouth. I stopped her and she gave me an attitude. And that was at Yale. Another time that happened to me 1 year ago, last spring, I went to my doctor for some problems I was having with my neck and throat. And his wife is his medical assistant. So she came in the office to give me the preliminary stuff, thermometer, blood pressure. And before she did, she picked up a dirty hospital gown or whatever it is you wear when you're during your exam, and she proceeded to throw it in the dirty laundry, squish her hand down in the dirty laundry. And then she came over to touch me. And I said, no. And I said, please wash your hands. And she refused, but she said, I'll put on gloves. Okay, tell me what good that is when your dirty hands are taking the gloves out of the box to put them on. Tears were running down my eyes because I was feeling violated that she was touching my arm with dirty hands. And instead of fixing the situation, my doctor came in and told me to get out of his office for asking his wife to wash his hands. When he finally calmed down and came over to give me the rest of my exam, he went to wash his hands and he washes up to the knuckle, and that's it. So I have no faith, but I know you guys believe in the doctors, so I thought I'd throw this out there that doctors agree that gloves are ineffective for COVID. So wash your hands, gel your hands, but forget the gloves. Then hopefully we can go back in the fast food restaurants to using disposable tissues to take bagels and donuts off, so then they can throw them out and ring the register and use a disposable tissue again, instead of this nonsense of these constantly putting gloves on, which make people feel that they can touch anything in their environment and still serve you because, hey, they're wearing gloves. So go out there and don't take this garbage from anyone. Tell them your rights. Tell them you want them to wash their hands, because this is something we should have been doing right along, people. Wash your hands, hand sanitize, forget the gloves, go out there and enjoy the parks in your backyard and your animals and your children or whoever you live with, and go get your shine on.